So the world is today reacting to the passing of Jimmy Cliff. Jimmy Cliff, Jamaica's first superstar, the one that paved the way for people like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and in today's day you can talk about Shaggy, Sean Paul, Vybz Kartel. Whenever you talk about Jamaica music and culture, whether it's music or movie, you cannot find a bigger name in that industry than Jimmy Cliff. So the world mourns the passing of Jimmy Cliff from America.
Some sad news from the music world this morning. Reggae legend Jimmy Cliff has died at the age of 81.
All the way in France, people are mourning the death of this legend, larger-than-life figure, Jimmy Cliff.
Well, now music lovers across the world are today mourning the passing of the Jamaican reggae star Jimmy Cliff. He was 81. France 24's music editor Marjorie Hash joins me in the studio for a glimpse of his life. Hi, Marjorie.
Hi.
So, his wife announced that he had suffered a seizure and pneumonia. Mm-hmm. What else can you tell us about?
Well, it's so much to say about this artist who paved the way for many others from Jamaica, and with the likes of Bob Marley and Toots and the Maytals, made reggae a phenomenon across the world and really broke it. And that was something kind of incredible. He was a Grammy Award winner. He worked with countless artists ranging from Kool and the Gang to the Rolling Stones, Sting, Yannick Noah here in France, and even Tim Armstrong from the Californian punk band, because reggae and punk go well together. An artist whose career spans 6 decades. Now, his last album came out in 2022 and was called Refugee, and he's also one of the few reggae artists who was indicted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as someone who, when he was alive, received Jamaica's Order of Merit, which is one of the highest accolades an artist can receive. Now, not only was he a national treasure, he was also an incredible international star.
And his music was very often used in soundtracks to films, including that really famous film, which I think propelled him into international.
Yeah. And he even had little comebacks with the song I Can See Clearly Now, which we heard earlier. That was in that bobsleigh film from the 90s, Cool Running, so he was back at the top of the charts thanks to that. But yeah, initially it was in 1972 that he played the lead role in The Harder They Come, and he signed the soundtrack, which featured a number of hits like So If You Really Want It, The Harder They Come, and I Can See Clearly Now.
I can sing too, no, sir. I'd like the chance to make a record.
Everybody want to make a record. You almost ready?
But I have a boss song, sir. This one must sell.
Despite his character's tragic spiral into crime and violence, the musician's struggle to get heard is not too far from Cliff's own tale. Born James Chambers in Jamaica, the ambitious young singer eventually found success on his native island after reaching the ears of producer Leslie Kong. But the path to worldwide fame was a tough one.
Sit tight and listen keenly while I play for you a brand new musical biscuit.
Even though The Harder They Come was finished by 1972, it took until 1975 to get general release in the US. Jimmy Cliff's soundtrack eventually helped to bring the positive vibes of reggae to American ears. But music remained the most important thing to him then.
Music has always played an integral part in changing the world. Why? Because music is the universal language. So music does it better than religion or politics.
Yes, so Jimmy Cliff was in that rare class of entertainers that span over 6 decades of music greatness. And this is the man that we just lost. And as I said, in my opinion, I believe that Jimmy Cliff was the last of the living legends, the ones that you could put on the Mount Rushmore of Jamaican music and culture. When you talk about, you would have to talk about Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Toots, and Jimmy Cliff would have to be there. So this is a big loss for Jamaica. And after over 60 years of contributing to Jamaica's music and also to acting, you cannot find a bigger movie star in the history of Jamaica than Jimmy Cliff, even though he did not do a lot of movies. But the harder they come, when you talk about iconic movie, Jamaica, small island nation, putting out a movie, The Harder They Come, decades ago, that was so remarkable, and that movie stands supreme even to this day. And you'd also have to talk about his soundtrack in movies like Cool Runnings, that 1988 movie of the Jamaican bobsled team, and Jimmy Cliff was the soundtrack of that movie. So this, as I said, this is a big loss for Jamaica. And Jimmy Cliff, you cannot talk about Jamaica music, Jamaica entertainment, movie without Jimmy Cliff. One of the first person to have signed with Island Records, the first real success story, superstardom out of Jamaica, way even before Bob Marley was considered a superstar. There was people like Jimmy Cliff, and his contribution to the world in terms of his concert in South Africa when the apartheid government in South Africa was there, and Jimmy Cliff went to South Africa and sold out a stadium with thousands of people, where you saw black and white people coming together for one of the first time in South Africa, and that shook the apartheid government in South Africa. And that was pretty much the beginning of the impact of reggae music, the contribution of reggae music to the liberation movement in Africa. So Jimmy Cliff was larger than life, and some of the most iconic interviews, you would see Jimmy Cliff in some of those most iconic interviews. I have had the opportunity to be in spaces with some of the most influential people worldwide. I've been in the same space with Queen Elizabeth. I've been in the same space with Fidel Castro, numerous American celebrities from sports to entertainment. But trust me, Jimmy Cliff, I've had the opportunity to be in the same space. And when Jimmy Cliff walk into a room, it's like royalty. Like everyone stops when Jimmy Cliff walked into a room. So this, as I said, this is a big loss for Jamaica. I believe that the Jamaica that we enjoy today, the Jamaica that is beloved across the world, is partly because of contribution from people like Jimmy Cliff himself. Whenever, as a Jamaican, you travel anywhere in the world and you say Jamaica, people will just talk about the culture, the music, Jimmy Cliff, the Bob Marley, and sometimes you get special treatment as a Jamaican when you go in places that sometimes most people don't even speak English, but once you say Jamaica, they are saying Bob Marley, they are saying Jimmy Cliff, and this is a big loss for Jamaica. As I said, I believe that he was the last of the icons, the Jamaican icons, and this is going to be a big loss. And I know right now with Jamaica going through Hurricane Melissa, the relief and all of that, Jamaicans and the country is going to have to take time to pause and to just remember this legend, someone that contributed to Jamaica. You could say more than almost anyone else, any other Jamaican have contributed. So guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.